Well, it couldn't be any worse. It couldn't get any better.
Right, there we go. Welcome back to the Roaring Peacock podcast, where we talk about Leeds United. My name's Adonis, and you know me as at the Adelites on X, formerly known as the social media platform formerly known as Twitter. And joining us today to discuss Illan Meslier's swift and early or too late departure is Barney at Barney LUFC21.
All right.
And Big Mac, who is the only one who is sensible enough to have quit social media, Ewan Metcalf, Machiavelli, Prince of Darkness, Macca.
Hello. I'm a man of extremely bad habits, but I have amazing willpower to be able to stop doing things like smoking and social media. And it's very liberating, very cathartic.
Well, that's very healthy. What a healthy start. And you've been keeping regular as well, Mac, which is good.
I like the way that you, in our little WhatsApp group, you like to hear about my, regularity and my toilet habits.
Somebody else who's been flushed out of the picture is Illan Meslier. We happy?
That was seamless. That was absolutely seamless.
What I say, from my shit to another big French shit. From a big English shit to a massive French shit. I love it. Well done. Congrats. You can tell you're doing a journalism degree. Superb.
Every now and then. Very smooth. And we've gone past the 30-second mark, so you can swear.
Sorry. Every week. Every week.
Right then. Who wants to start?
Oh, wow.
I'll start.
Go on, Barney.
I really didn't think Farke would do it, but he's done it. But I think it's too late, personally. Changing your keepers with 6 games to go looks, I don't know, does it look a little bit desperate? Does it look like he's going to get... Well, we are desperate. It seems like what he stands for. Should have been done well before. Let's be honest, we've probably lost 12 points plus because of his mistakes over the season. We probably might have been promoted by now. So I think it should have been done well before now. Well before now. But I think the crowd's reaction on Saturday just said everything really about the performance. And I mean, when that second goal went in, you could just hear like everyone go, for fuck's sake, how did that happen? So it was needed, but too late for me, if I'm honest.
When they scored that second goal, it was like 30,000 people had been kicked in the bollocks.
Yep.
It was so horrible. That's one of the worst feelings I've had at Ellen Road. It was just awful. Macca?
Yeah, that sinking feeling, isn't it? It's sickening when that happens. It's rare you get a goalkeeper that costs you, that many points, but to lose, he cost us the game twice. So in 96 minutes, 97 minutes, he managed to cost us the game twice. Now, he wasn't alone because Tanaka, giving away a stupid corner and, Joseph's lack of any sort of willingness to get that ball under control and put his body on the line, just bounces off his shin. A lot of luck as well, or unlucky for us, but, he's poor. He's been poor for ages. I think the take I have on Meslier, and I've had it for a while, as you guys know, is that he should have been dropped ages ago and we should have had a better replacement, but clearly there's either something in his contract that says he's got to be number one or whatever. My theory, what I spoke to earlier on, was that I truly believe he's taken out the firing line because every single team now, bear in mind we're playing some of the lower level sides, the pub teams in the Championship, if you like. That's going to be their tactic. Target him, put the ball in early, it's going to cost... He can't cope. So the tactic is, when he's not under pressure and he has to do very little in a game, he can't cope. So when people like Luton are just going to fire the ball, get crosses in, deep crosses, crosses from the byline, he's going to flake, isn't he? Barney's touched on it that it's too late. That we've got that sinking feeling. We've already lost momentum. We've dropped loads of points recently. Not all down to him, but and the second part of that theory is that I truly believe that Struijk and Rodon and others, possibly Ampadu, have gone to Farke. I don't think Farke's done that of his own because he should have done it earlier. Darlow's never had a run in the side. I think probably certainly Rodon and Ampadu and James would say they rate or trust Darlow over Meslier. But I think senior players have gone to Farke and said, get him out of the team. You could before he gave away the goal on Saturday, he played 2 passes to Rodon, and Rodon was furious because they weren't accurate enough. They were behind him, and he was having to go back and get it. He's got no quality and no. So I truly believe that the senior players have gone to Farke and told him to get him out of the team. Something's happened, hasn't it, that's made him, with 7 games left, say enough's enough. And I don't think it's just on, to kill a 25-year-old goalie, which I'm sure many Leeds fans have thought about, not metaphorically speaking. At this stage of the season is really dangerous, because if Darlow isn't any better, then how do you then bring him back with any confidence based on the fact he's been dropped? I think the last thing I'm going to say on it is that knobhead to go into the Kop when he's saved that penalty, the only one he's saved in 20 penalties or whatever it is, to go up to the Kop and be pointing at himself, giving it the big I am, shows what a narcissistic and kind of egotistical person he is to me. Because you owe us quite a lot. I wouldn't go, giving it the big one in front of the Kop, pointing at yourself. It's almost Bamford cup in ears, Chris Wood cup in ears, knee slide into the Kop mentality of I told you, look at me, I brilliant. And for the second half to transpire the way it did is just desserts for him, because if there's one man who has to get his head down and focus on his game and really prove to the fans that he's worth that number 1 shirt and that his redemption arc is in full effect, it's him. And as soon as he does something good, he's there fucking glazing himself far too early, as we saw on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean,
they get handed.
Totally entitled to celebrate, but yeah, it's just the mistakes. And when you look at the statistics, they're not going to tell the whole story. I think that there's a new Leeds United writer at Leeds Live who was sort of defending him on Twitter and sort of caused this big backlash against him. I mean, fair enough. It caused some clickbait, but I think what it doesn't take into account is basically the XG that some of these chances. Basically, the attacker is expected to score. In other words, Meslier isn't expected to save those chances. So, like the chances where we give away, where it's like 3 yards out. So that doesn't count as negatively towards his. It's PS times XG basically. Statistic, which sort of is the best kind of measure that we've got for a goalkeeper's performance. But what it doesn't take into account is that the reason why the opposition player had that chance from 3 yards out is because Meslier can't catch a ball.
Yeah.
Or that time, do you know that time where it looped up and there was absolutely no danger at all? I can't remember. Was it Wigan? I can't remember who it was.
Hull. I was in the Hull
game.
I mean, that's going behind the goal, and he knocks it back into play. I mean, it's unfathomable. I mean, there's 2 real arrows to the heart here. One is that the club should have done something about it in the close season, whether it's Johansson, who's got the best stats in the league, playing for a very average team that we could have had really cheaply. It's criminal. And his performances week in, week out are criminal. To the point of, what is he doing all week that he can't catch a ball and that he knocks a ball back into play that's going over the crossbar? What? I mean, I said it to you the other day. I don't think he's alone in some of the criticisms in that, but nobody trusts him. Everybody in that team, in the back 4 particularly, and in the midfield, has lost. I mean, you look at the reaction to that Hull goal. The players around him stood over him. Nobody consoled him. Nobody went, come on, mate, like you would do if it was your mate and you trusted him. And nobody rallied round him. Nobody is rallying round him. They've lost trust. They've lost faith in him. I don't think he's very liked in the team, because even if you were fallible in your ability, if you were a likeable person, people would want to pick you up and you to do well. I can't see that. I think Rodon hates him. I think Rodon wants to win. He wants to get Leeds up, and I think he is 75% on his own of the reason why if we don't go up, it'll be pretty much down to him, because that video I sent across the other day, I think it's at minimal 12 points that it's cost us. I said it earlier on. He cost us. He should have done better with the second shot. It doesn't save that. He don't parry that. He don't. There's nothing. And nobody can redeem him. There is anybody trying to stick up for him and defend him is an idiot, because he should have been got out of the team. If not before the season started, certainly during, when he's made mistake after mistake after mistake. And these are, one-offs. Like I always think about that Birmingham keeper against Aston Villa, where he kind of let the throw-in roll past it. He probably made one mistake all season, big mistake. Mellier's made 5 or 6 in one season. Again, let's be honest, he's probably the best team in the league with brilliant defenders around him. It's not that he's having to face 50 shots a game or he's doing nothing. What is wrong with him?
I think that, me being the happy clap here, I cannot see a positive now. I mean, a keeper that's 25 years old, everyone would say he's a young player, but he's got 200 appearances now for Leeds. You should start seeing massive improvements. But I think, I don't want to go back to it, but when Allardyce took him out of the team, he needed to be taken out of the team because his confidence was shot. And I think that it's been too easy for him to get into the team because, like everyone said over the years, there's not been that challenge there to push him all the time. But a player that's 25 years old, a goalkeeper that's got 200 appearances, you should start seeing improvements. But I personally think he's like another Bamford. His body's not broken, but his head's broken from that last season in the Premier League. I think he's taken far too many shots, let too many goals in, and I think he just needs to reset. And I think, to be honest, I think we all know he's not going to be here this time next season. But the thing is, a few years ago, you were probably thinking about, me personally, I was thinking he's going to get into the French team because he looked so good at the start. I think we could have probably got 10, 15 million for him. Now what we're going to get for him? A team, probably the best Championship team we've seen for a while with that squad, and he's the weakest link in our squad. So what are you going to get for him? What is his contract's? What, another 2-3 years on top? So you're not going to get 5, 6, 8 million for him, are you? So do you keep him as a reserve keeper? But like Macca said, he seems like one of those players that I'm the big one here. I'm number one. And you would have thought that he's probably, because he's played 200 games, he's probably thought as like one of the senior players. But for me, he's absolutely broken. Play-wise and his head-wise, he's broken.
Yeah, and the weird thing is that he can't see it himself. Mac talked about the celebration, but it was the comments about Chelsea in January for me that were more indicative of somebody who's sort of lost touch with reality in a way. Because if you look at the statistics, he's statistically one of the worst goalkeepers in Europe.
Yeah, and that's just, you can't. That's just shocking, isn't it? Shocking for a team that should be challenging. That's going to be challenging for the top 2, and we've got the worst keeper in Europe. What more can you say?
Yeah, I said it before that I think that if you swap any of the others, the top 6, you could argue it's further down than that actually. But you certainly swap our goalkeeper with Sheffield United's goalkeeper, and we're 10, 12, 15 points clear now. You swap our goalkeeper with any of the top 6 goalkeepers in that division, and we're clear. We're almost up. And it hit home and hose to a point, and I just think that he is, I said it to you, you're only as strong as your weakest link, and he is a massively, massively weak link, and has been for ages. I think back to the Meslier I saw very early, I don't know if it was his first game where Casillas was in goal, and he played in that Arsenal Cup game. And he was like Pirlo in nets. He was pinging balls 50, 60 yards to feet. He was playing through balls from his penalty area. That distribution has gone, and it has been gone for a long. How that happens to a professional sportsman, I have no idea. Personally, and this is not to chastise the poor kid, but that's a mental thing. That's something that's happened that is completely broken his confidence, his mentality. He's obviously got an ego. It's French and he's bound to have. But he's got that situation where I don't see anything that redeems him. I look at players around him. They don't trust him. I look at his distribution's poor. He's fragile. He's weak physically. When he goes up for, you look at keepers. Some keepers will come out and take out the defender, the striker. They punch the ball well. They've got a hand to something, and it's a strong hand on something. The lad at Aston Villa's a good example. Is it Martinez?
Yeah, or goalkeepers of the past, Oliver Kahn, Peter Schmeichel, all those. Even Nigel Martin had an edge to him.
But his peers. Yeah, you think about the keeper that was France keeper for ages, who was at Tottenham. I can't remember. Is it Laurent or Laurent?
Yeah.
Surely he's been under his tutelage or whatever. And you look at what a keeper he was, and he's got nothing. He's got none of those abilities. He hasn't got the grit, the bravery, the physical strength, the mentality. The kind of this. The best keepers in the world have a mentality that whatever's going on in front of them, they want to keep a clean sheet. They want to keep that ball out of the net. He has no desire to do that. I mean, when you look at those previous highlights of goals that have gone past him, the Portsmouth one really stands out early in the season, where the ball's straight at him, and if you parry it with your forearms or if you parry it with any part of your body that's got any strength behind it, that ball doesn't go in the back of the net. It goes through him. It's almost like it's a glitch on a computer game. The ball's straight into his body, into the midriff of his body with his arms like this, and it goes through him. It's awful. It's pathetic. I mean, he has no right, and he might do it because I think he is a flap, whatever you want to call it, a sulk. I think he'll sulk about being dropped, and he's got no right because he's let us down game after game after game after game with not just, like I say, predictable goalkeeper hazards or blips. The one at Sunderland, which is almost like, what the fuck? What's just happened? It's hard to. It's like I said, a computer game glitch where you think, hey, have a ball end up in back at net, then straight at the keeper. He's dreadful, and he needs dropping, and he shouldn't wear a Leeds shirt again. It's that simple for me.
There's a question.
Oh, go on, Barney.
Do you think because he's such a young keeper? Because let's be honest, a keeper.
He's not though. He's not
anymore. But do you think because during a keeper that he's gone through quite a lot of coaches in a short space of time, that's not helped his development either? Because we've seen young. I know it's not an excuse, but we've went from a coach that wanted to play out from the back, and that's when his distribution was good. Then we went to a coach that wanted to just hoof it out, get the ball out as quick as possible. So his mind's messed up, but possibly as well. His concentration, I think, is lacking. The amount, because we're very much possession based, and if you're a keeper that's not like on it all the time, you're going to lose. You're going to lose concentration. And I'm not defending it because as a professional sportsman and a keeper, you shouldn't be doing that. But it's just weird how it's just completely lost his head. I don't understand what's happened, considering with such a strong.
He's broken.
Absolutely he's broken. Yeah.
I think that there was a few logical fallacies going on. One was sunk cost. So, in other words, we've bought him and we've given him a big contract and we've invested all this money, all this time, all this energy into him. So there's no point changing him now because if we do change him now, nobody who's going to buy him, and we're never going to be able to recoup those costs. So I think there was one part of that. Then it was probably partly that he was just good enough in terms of we were getting results. And so because he hasn't been facing 20 shots a game, then we haven't been conceding 6 goals a game like we were in the Premier League. Then it was the case of, well, maybe buying Ethan Ampadu is more important, or Joe Rodon or whatever. Maybe we can get away with it. And he's sort of flattered to deceive as well. And the other thing is, he was young, and so you are kind of expecting him at some point to get better.
Yeah,
but he hasn't. He's regressed. He's got worse, and that was all of those things combined. But flattering to deceive has been a big problem with Leeds over the last few years, and it happened with Marsh as well. So two games before the big winter break for the Qatar World Cup were Liverpool away at Anfield. We beat them for the
he's got a thumb up next to his fucking head, and now he's just stopped talking. His internet's been cut off. That's what happens in Bromley.
My internet is so bad now.
Hey,
so we're beating Liverpool at Anfield, first time in front of a crowd in I think it was 5 years, and then we beat Bournemouth on Bonfire Night, 4-3 I think it was, and then there was a big break, and if he hadn't have got those results, Marsh was gone, and we would have ended up with Andoni Iraola or some decent manager. As it was, the rest is history. But the same things happened with Meslier. Is there've been other positions to fill that were deemed more pressing, important, and we've left him by because he's flattered to deceive. Oh, we think he'll be good enough. Now I've done a comparison, right? I compared for their entire careers because that's the only way to keep it fair with Darlow. So I've compared Illan Meslier, Karl Darlow, James Trafford, Victor Johansson, and Michael Cooper. And James Trafford is Burnley's goalkeeper. Victor Johansson is the lad from Stoke. Went from Rotherham in the summer for 1.1 million. And Michael Cooper is the Sheffield United goalkeeper. Now the one with the best statistics is Victor Johansson. He's now the metric that counts is something called post-shot expected goals minus goals allowed, and
that's made already.
to try and keep it simple, it's either the amount of goals saved because you're really good or you've been a bit lucky,
right,
or the amount of goals conceded because you're not very good. So on top of the tree for these 5 goalkeepers is Victor Johansson. He's stopped 23.3 goals that were expected to be scored over the length of his career. Next is Sheffield United's Michael Cooper at plus 10.2, so he's saved 10 goals. Next is James Trafford, and he's saved 5 goals. Karl Darlow is after that, and he is the first one on the list to have a negative score for this. So he's let in 5 goals for whatever reason. And Meslier has let in 34.6 goals.
Jesus Christ.
More than he was expected to over his career.
Jesus.
So I think if you look at it as a whole, Darlow should be an improvement. But obviously he's rusty, and there's only 7 games to go for him to shake off that rust.
So how Michael Cooper, right? Born in 1999, so he's a similar age to Meslier. So what? Just humour me. How much was he bought for? How much did Sheffield United buy him for? He was kind of lower division, wasn't he?
Well,
James Trafford, sort of vaguely remember that signing. Burnley. What did we pay for Meslier? Was it
5 million, wasn't it?
5, I think. Yeah.
These are things we should have probably. These are things we probably should have done in the pre.
Well, the way that we go about it is you don't ask the questions, and then nobody knows.
I know, but I'm interested. I'm interested because if you look at the, that because you've just mentioned that, Donny, that seamless or that approach to everything. If you look at Meslier, £5 million is a what? 19-year-old French under 20 goalkeeper, whatever it was. I bet you any money, James Trafford, Cooper, Johansson, almost together wouldn't have added up to £5 million. So we was getting fucking bummed here. Us, every time. And if we could have had Johansson for £1 million. That's a fact. He was there. We had him on. We had first refusal on Johansson, so we turned him down. Why? Why is nobody? It's critical. You know, this. I can see things with my eyes. I don't need stats to tell me it, right? But you've just done a job in 30 seconds that apparently the Red Bull, the fucking 49ers do, you know, the stat-based purchase, stat-based recruitment. Fucking, how are they looking at that and going, yeah, it's fine? It's like that meme with the dog sat there with fire in the background going, everything's fine. They're fucking idiots. The mentality of you're only as strong as your weakest link certainly applies if you've got a poor goalkeeper. And we've got a really, really poor goalkeeper going into the last 7 games of a season. We haven't got the confidence to keep him in nets. How many other people have ever been promoted saying that? None of them, because the one thing you will have bottomed off is your spine of your team. He's the base of the spine of the team and he's shit. And you've got all them other keepers that are in that division that are miles better than him stats-wise, confidence-wise, leadership-wise, communication-wise, distribution. There isn't one thing that he does well. And people are saying to me, oh, yeah, but, you know, he's only a young lad. Oh, but, you know, he's done well, hasn't he? But he saved the penalty. So what? He saved 1 penalty in 22 or something. The last one he saved went straight back to the striker and he scored from it. Fuck off, man. If you are doing stat-based recruitment, if you're looking at any sort of football intelligence on a football pitch, you don't have him in your goal. It's that simple. And we've gone with it. I'm going to say something now which people will definitely argue with. He was the reason we got relegated. Because if you guaranteed, if we haven't got confidence in with the team we've got in the Championship, we didn't have trust or confidence in him when we were in the Premier League. When Man City were having 31 shots at us, there's not a chance on this planet. Look at the goal he conceded against Everton. He's got no positional sense. There is no redeeming factor for this man. He should never wear a Leeds shirt again. He should not have been wearing a Leeds shirt for at least the last 12 to 18 months. And anybody who wants to argue, I'll fucking give you my address and go have it. You fucking idiot. It's that simple.
Right. Michael Cooper cost £4 million and James Trafford cost £15 million from Man City. So
that's all right. Okay, yeah,
a decent, but that's what you've got to pay for a decent goalkeeper, don't you?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Either 1.1 for Victor Johansson, 4 for Michael Cooper, or 15 for James Trafford.
Well, the thing is that Man City, you know, will have a premium on players, and he will have been bought, I guess, when Burnley were in the Premier League, so they'll have had a bit more money to throw about. The other 2 have been bought while playing, you know, teams are in the Championship. But you know, we could have had 5 Victor Johanssons. We could have had, you know, a Michael Cooper. What is this recruitment myth that we have about Leeds United, where we're a big draw and we're going and looking at the cream of the Championship or the cream of the First Division or scouting Europe for the stat-based recruitment that we want? It's a myth because how have we not got a better keeper to back up than Darlow? My again, another conspiracy theory is there must be something in Meslier's contract that says he has to be number 1. Why have we not replaced him? Why have we not got a better keeper as number 2? Why have we not let him make those mistakes if we trusted him and let him, he's 25, let's trust him to go and do it? Why have we not got somebody who can then go, right, Victor Johansson steps in. He never plays again, Meslier. He would never get his shirt back. It's that simple. It baffles me. We've gone all this season top of the division, knowing that we've got this fucking like poison chalice in goals, this kind of weakness in our team, and it's suddenly exposed itself at the worst possible time. And people are going, "Oh shit, we've got a really bad goalkeeper. We've had a bad goalkeeper for 4 years. We've done naught about it."
Rightio. So a few of your comments then. Derek Moore says, "Evening, gents." Good evening, Derek.
Evening, Derek.
Good to hear from you. He says, £5 million spent on Meslier, £5 million too much. And Ross, long time no speak, says, how many of those keepers played significant Premier League minutes behind Llorente and Koch? Of course, they've not chucked in as many goals. Well,
comes back to recruitment. It still doesn't excuse what a shit bastard he is. Sorry.
So Darlow then. What do we think about Karl Darlow? Do you think he's going to be able to step up and save the day.
It's worse
for
than
the last
Meslier. It's worse than
games.
Meslier.
Or 10 games, sorry. It could be it could be 10 games.
Yeah, go on. You Barney, you go.
I don't really know much about him, to be honest. He did all right at Newcastle. Some of it was a little bit scary. He's got nice teeth, though, hasn't he? They're
Good
very
teeth.
white.
Yes.
They're very white. And the fact that, I mean, I don't know much about Wales, but he always gets picked for Wales, doesn't he? And he doesn't seem to make any cock-ups for Wales. So
true, yeah. I mean, they are playing Kazakhstan, but yeah, he's done quite well.
But at least Rodon and Ampadu have played with him, and James, so they're going to know how he plays. Yeah. And you could be right, to be fair, Mac. I think it got to a point where Rodon was absolutely going to do something to him on the pitch against Swansea. So I think it could be right. It could be I don't want to call it a leadership group, but someone's had a quiet word with Farke. Some of the lads have said, this can't go on. This is going to ruin our season.
Do you think Rodon gives that penalty away if there's a different goalkeeper?
No,
I don't. I also think that some of those players are probably overcompensating what they should be doing because they've got that keeper right behind them. They have got no trust in him anymore, and I think that's the massive issue. You can only get coached so much and how you want to play that game, but when you've got a keeper making mistakes after mistakes, you're not going to be able to do what you're being coached to do against that squad, that team you're playing, because you just know that that team's going to get at least one chance in this game from a mistake from Meslier. And people can search my tweets over the years, and I've supported Meslier with the ups and downs, but now it has to stop this. It has to stop. This is not just about getting promoted. This is about the future of the club for me, because if we don't get promoted now, this could be a long few years again back in the Championship because of one man, not because of a squad and a manager that's not done it right. It's because of one man that's made far too many mistakes.
Yeah, and it's not, he's played Ross's point, which is a fair point. Everyone's got an opinion, that he hasn't played behind Coquelin this season. He hasn't for 2 seasons. He's played behind a good Championship defence, and he's poor, and he's exposed how poor he is. And then those players can see through him. I mean, you can literally see through him because balls go straight through him. But it's just not. It's not acceptable. And Barney said it. You have to at some point make a stand and go. Whether Darlow's better or not, you have to give him an opportunity to come in because you cannot risk playing Meslier anymore because the tactic from Preston, the tactic from Luton, the tactic from Plymouth Argyle on the last day of the season, if I was the manager and any fucking savvy football person in the world would go, get the ball in, get corners, get crosses in, fucking test him out because he'll give you a chance or two every game. And he's got away with it for too long and it can't happen anymore. I think I've seen Darlow a couple of times for Wales, admittedly, as you've said, Donny, against lesser opposition, but ultimately it doesn't matter when you're 6 yards out, that ball's rattling round. He's got a man at match twice. So I think given a run in the team and I think that you've got at least 3 or 4 players who know him well and trust him. I said it the other day to you, and I know you were critical of this point, but a couple of the times, the whole game, probably less so, but certainly on Saturday, when he dropped that ball, when a keeper's going up for to take a ball, to take a catch, usually what happens is the centre halves will go and stand blocking off anybody coming in to disrupt his catch or to knock him or to physically, kind of bully him. That would be the same with any goalkeeper, but particularly with Meslier, that needs doing. So what I'm not seeing, and I think this is a kind of a camaraderie thing, is none of those centre halves are going and thinking, right, the ball's up in the air, it's Meslier, so we better do it anyway, just in case as a safety blanket. They're not following in and anticipating him dropping it or him getting knocked by somebody or getting physically kind of, challenged for the ball. They're letting him a bit of the background, my mind almost, the sort of devil on my shoulders going, he should fucking catch it though. Nobody's going in because they think he's catching that. But after all the mistakes and blunders he's made, you should be thinking, what if? So I'm going to go in and I'm going to stand 2 feet away from him. And if anybody comes in, I'm going to block him off. I'm going to make sure that nobody can get into that drop ball. and just give him that safety blanket around him. I think that's a really anybody, Chris Wilder and people, that savvy people, Scott Parker, will be watching that going, fucking brilliant. They've give up on him. They're letting him. They're almost fucking letting him get publicly hanged in front of people. So I am seeing things that I think the defence could do better. Your argument about so done. He's been behind a brilliant defence that have shielded him and put their bodies on the line to stop. I agree, but I think there's times where that ball goes in the box. And if I was the centre half, I'd be thinking, I don't trust him to catch it, so I'm going to go and stand right next to him. So if he does drop it, I can flick it, or I can stop striker coming in behind me, or centre half coming behind me to get something on it. I'm not seeing that.
Why isn't he being told every single day at Thorpe Arch, punch the ball, you can't catch it, you literally can't catch it, mate?
The thing is, sir, he has punched the ball sometimes, but I think for me, it's his decision making. He doesn't know what to do sometimes. He flaps too much. It's either he thinks there's a time when he should catch it and he thinks, no, I'll punch it. Then the time when he should punch it, he catches it. And then he's caught in two minds.
We've been...
On Saturday, I'm not being funny, I could have caught that in the knackersack. You know what I mean? I could have got the extra skin on my ball bag and fucking caught it with that. That was that easy. You can't fathom it. It's like I said, there's times where he concedes goals or drops balls. You cannot get... It's like you dreamt it. It's like a bad dream. The Sunderland one, the Hull one, the one on Saturday. I could literally have stretched my ball bag skin and fucking caught that. You know, he's a professional goalkeeper who practices every day with both hands. Nobody around him to challenge him, and he drops the ball. I mean, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. I'd literally retire. If I was in, call it a day. You're not a goalkeeper. You're not a professional athlete. Fuck off.
So this pod's been going for nearly 37 minutes now.
Yeah. We need to move on now. It's getting more angry.
I tried.
I'm getting angrier the more you have. I've had a 7% beer and I'm nearly finished it, so it's just getting angry.
Well, at least Darlow has had a couple of seasons where he's saved more goals than he was expected to, so that's good. One was in the Premier League where Newcastle finished 10th. He saved 3 goals that he was expected to, and one was in the Championship with Hull during 15 games, I think. And he saved 2 goals more than he was expected to. So not bad.
Right, that's good. It's an improvement.
He's also won the Championship with Newcastle, and he had a few seasons at Nottingham Forest as well. So he has had a few. He has had a few sort of full seasons in his career. Obviously, he's coming off the back of 1.4 90 minutes for Leeds this season. I assume that they were both in the cups, which we didn't go very far in. So there we go. We can stop talking about Meslier now. Up the boys, says Wardy.
Yes, Sammy Wood. Get him in next. He's got fucking massive.
When you see...
He's got hands like fucking Kenny Everett. Hallelujah.
When you see Wardy's hands in real life, they're freakishly large.
They are. They're ridiculous.
I mean, I've got quite big hands, but he's like a fucking shovel mitts, isn't he? It's like, get him in goals. He'd stop more than Meslier. Kid idiot.
Right. The Swansea game, have we talked about that? Let's talk about the positives. Should we talk about... There were some positives. We scored 2 goals.
Yes, there were. Willing on to... Why is he not starting above Aronson? Let's get on to another prick. Get Aronson out of the fucking team. Get fucking Willing on to him. How's Aronson still getting a scare? Fucking hell. In about 2 hours, we'll still be here with me ranting about wankers that I don't like. Genuine point, though. How's he not starting above Aronson? Better footballer, better, gets more free kicks, better on the ball, scores more goals, more effective, less minutes, same return as Aronson. Comes on in a minute and scores. I mean, what a strike as well. That's the game. It's a bit like Sunderland thing. That's a goal that wins you a game. And if it weren't for that French prick, and I've got to say something. We don't manage the end of games well. No. That's 6 minutes. Why aren't we getting booked for delaying throw-ins? Firpo throws that throw-in. Like, I'll just chuck it anyway. It's fine. There's only a minute left. Why aren't we fucking nasty and playing gamesmanship and getting booked for delaying the throw-in and taking half an hour to take a throw-in like everybody else? We did not manage that 6 minutes well. Rodon was booting the ball anywhere. it was really poor. So again, not to defend Meslier, but I think everybody lost their heads a little bit on Saturday, which is really worrying. But yeah, Willie's never let us down. Big smile on his face, and there was some positives. We weren't great, Willie, all game, but if Willie had come on and struck the winner, amazing. So yeah, it was not written in the stars this time.
Positives are normally your thing, Barney. Do you have any positives, Swansea?
No, I don't. I think for me, it was like one of the worst home performances this season.
It was awful.
I know it sounds silly, but we scored too early, I think. And the players seemed to their asses fell out. They seemed to lose their heads a little bit because we scored within 30 seconds. And then we seemed to go within ourselves a little bit. And I just we couldn't pass the ball, which was really worrying. And then there was Farke. I know Farke has said that this team needs to play at 100% all the time. And I noticed on Saturday that some of those, and I may be wrong here, I usually am, but some of these players seem to believe their own hype sometimes. And sometimes,
go on, name names.
I think Ampadu does sometimes, but in fairness, in his defence, he shouldn't have started. You could tell straight away that he was rushed back into the team too quickly. There's some players that they think that they can. Solomon can go missing quite easily sometimes for me, and also on Saturday it felt like it was getting to a point where it was last season from give it to Somerville, now we're giving it to Solomon to make some magic for us, and it felt a little bit forced some of the game. Second half when we came out, we seemed to play better. We seemed to have a bit more confidence, but Swansea, I was surprised how good they were. To be fair, they wanted to play football, and they pressed us as well. And I find sometimes when a team presses us, we don't like it. We like to have time on the ball, pass it around a bit. But when a team presses us, we seem to panic a little bit. Certain players do. So yeah, it just did not work Saturday, any of it. And I thought, go on. No, that's it. I've got no positives. I was angry on Saturday, and it was.
We're finished, mate.
I was angry on Saturday, and I just got more angry on Sunday, and then Monday I was like, "How the fuck have we drawn that game?
Yeah.
And I just felt it's going to happen again, isn't it? It's going to happen again. And for me, there's some players that need to.
No, don't do it, Barney.
It was awful.
Don't get like me, Barney. Don't get like me,
There's some players that need to grow some balls now for these next 7 games because for me, it feels like it could be playoffs again because I just don't. I don't think that some of these players are up to it. For me, I don't know. There's something not quite right with that performance for me.
So
James was shit, by the way, as well. Just to throw it in there, because everybody keeps telling me he's player of the season, James, but his fucking decision making's appalling.
Let me try and bring a little bit of balance to it then, because Barney's switched sides.
Yeah,
it's got even darker.
When Barney's gone, we're in trouble because it's like me and Barney now on the dark side, and you're Luke Skywalker.
Basically, in wrestling terms, I was a baby face. Now I'm the heel.
Right, the heel. So, international break, 14 players.
Amazing. Fucking great insight. Well done, mate. Superb. Tell you're a journalist. He's fucking got Bromley internet. LS13 Wi-Fi.
Are they on dial-up still?
So anyway, Barry.
Yeah, my internet connection. Yeah. It's MI5 again. I've tried to bring the positivity, and they've gone, nah, get him off the stream right now. So 14 players are off on international duty. They had one training session together before the game. So it's always like that, isn't it, for us? Because especially in this division, and Swansea all the time in the world to sort of sit and plan and scheme and recharge their batteries. So there is that side to it. Ampadu was clearly on one leg. So was Byram, and especially with and obviously Solomon was away as well. Tanaka, long travel times. Solomon wasn't helped by Byram. Firpo has made Solomon look very, very good this season. And when you have Solomon and Firpo running at you, I think I wouldn't want to be a right back when they're both on form and have their energy. We're lacking energy, that's true, but it was also a tactical thing. And Barney was correct in saying that when teams press us, we find it very difficult. And that's what scares me about going up as well, is because we're going to need some players who can handle the pressure of being high press, because every team in the Premier League, if we get up, will high press us. So, but what the silver lining is I was listening to Farke's press conference today, and he was saying exactly this, all the right things. He was isolating what the problems were. The problems have been that when we don't control games, when we don't force teams back, press them back into a low block, when we let them press us, and when we even cede possession to them and then sit back ourselves, that's when we look at our worst. Those are the games, plus a few games where we were bullied. So Millwall, QPR, I think, a few of the losses. So those are the games where we play our worst. So what we need to do is we need to get back to possession football, pushing teams back into a low block, giving the ball away as little as possible, and that is going to be a bit boring. It's going to mean 40 passes sideways and backwards, but that is going to ensure that we can control the game again. Because that's what we really need to do, and we just need to win. The last 7 games, just win everything. That's the plan.
Do you know what's so funny about it though is that during the season we've not been like worried about stuff, and it's like it's good fun winning, but then people have been complaining, but there's no jeopardy in games. But then now all of a sudden, after a few games, shit, we're going to do it again. So seems to be no happy medium with stuff. Like we're trying to play attractive football. Yeah, we do it. Then all of a sudden we can say, no, don't play it like that. We need to play it like this. So it feels like on Saturday, it felt like everyone wanted to rip everything up again and start again. Well, sorry, we've got 7 games. I still think it's in our hands, but I still think that I think Farke's got the mentality to do it because he's been there, done that before. But I think it's a different beast because it was Norwich before. Now it's Leeds United. It's bigger pressure. You've got bigger investment now, and you've got players that probably are starting to think that, oh yeah, this is really good. We're winning games, but sometimes you need to win dirty. And I think sometimes we're a little bit, like Max said earlier, we're a little bit too nice.
Yeah,
you just want to go at teams, score, 100%. And then just be at them all the time. But as soon as we got that first goal, we just like dropped back and started passing again. It's like, just keep going. We're 1-0 up after 30 seconds. This crowd will be fucking on you straight away. And Swansea will retreat straight away because they'll get scared. But no, we didn't. We just seem to like go within ourselves again. And the best thing about Ellen Road is if you score first, we saw it when we scored really early against West Brom, Pablo Hernandez. And that crowd, that was that's how you wanted to get the crowd behind you. But I don't know, we just seem to retreat a little bit and get scared. But no, sometimes you just need to keep going at them. Sometimes you just need to put the foot on the neck and just keep going and going and going. But sometimes I don't think that's how Farke wants to play, which is a little bit disappointing when we should have been. For me, after we scored the first goal, within 2 minutes we were at them again, and we just didn't take our chances.
They panicked as well. So firstly, they got scared, sat back, went inside of themselves, and then they were getting pressed, and then they started panicking.
Yeah.
And then when they got the ball, they tried to get they tried to go and score again and like try to, I guess, wrestle momentum back. But because we were sitting so far deep and we were so spread apart, it was basically just Solomon against two players or James against two players, and they were trying to do it all themselves, and there was no shape. We completely lost shape. We got scared and we were panicked, and there was just no control at all.
No.
It was.
Oh. That's a great place to stop that, because it looks like he's fucking fallen asleep on the podcast. Here he is. Hello.
Awful. The Wi-Fi's just gone to shit.
Nuts. You haven't got Virgin
No.
Media, have you? Fucking wankers.
Derek Moore, other broadband outlets are available. Derek Moore,
No, don't get Virgin.
It's Farke's
Shit.
It's Farke's fault. He runs the players out of form and doesn't rotate enough. If we don't go up, it's on Farke's head for being stubborn. Agree with that?
I think as a manager, you've got to be a little bit stubborn. Bielsa was stubborn. Most managers are pretty stubborn, to be fair. I think that there is an argument that when we were rotating, we looked invincible because, teams have been turning up thinking, I reckon James is out of form. He's not playing, Ramazani's playing, or, Aaronson's not playing, Nonto's playing. I think there was an argument for that. Pirro wasn't doing great, so we got Joseph in. I think the problem you've got is if you look at Sheffield United and Burnley, they can play anyway, so they can do the controlling the game. But when it gets dirty, they can do it. I look at our team and I think it's weak. It meant physically weak. Pirro's not winning 5 headers a game. He's not knocking centre halves about. Tanaka and Gruev and Rothwell maybe a little bit. Even Ampadu. Ampadu's probably the one, but we're not knocking people about in midfield. Strike's nice for a centre half. Rodon has something about him, this nasty streak, but he's not knocking people about and being a bully and fucking being really. You look at some of those teams around us now when it gets to the business end of the season. I don't think we've got the players who can get us over the line. I don't think we had them last year. I don't think we've got them this year. I think we rely on being better than everybody else football-wise. That doesn't count for fuck all now. What counts for fuck all now is, can you fight? Can you grit your teeth? Can you bite down on your gum shield? Can you come out swinging? Are you going to fucking, put your foot in there and do the nasty things? I thought the last 7 minutes of that game against Swansea on Saturday was appalling. I thought that the fact we took that throw in too quick, we were rushing everything. There was no, you look at what they did in that game, flopping on the floor, getting free kicks out of it, falling over, it's a little bit of gamesmanship. If you haven't got that in your locker at this level of football, you might as well call it a day. And that's where I think if we do capitulate, that's where we're going to find out. Too nice. Bielsa was too honest. He didn't want to play those games, giving Aston Villa a goal. Fuck Aston Villa. Fuck the idiot that fell over on the halfway line. Fuck John Terry. Play. Fuck that. We're too nice. We're too, that doesn't work for anybody. I had sympathy with Pontus Jansson that day. I would fucking booted that kid who came through with the ball into the fucking West Stand. Simple as. There's not a chance he's walking through and scoring a goal. And I got sacked. And I've had Bielsa drop me for that. And I've trained under 17s. I ain't letting some knobhead from Aston Villa walk through and score a goal against us because they've given up when we've clearly the ball's still in. Fuck fair play. Fuck winning the award for it. Don't get you paid. It doesn't pay the cleaners, the catering staff, all the people that are going to get made redundant when you're not getting promoted or you're getting relegated. We aren't nasty enough. I'm sorry. We're not. It's that simple. With the gamesmanship that didn't prevail in that last 7 minutes, cost us the game. Forget Meslier, weren't good enough.
I think you've
I think there's other players
that you don't as well. You can't.
But how can you not have it? How can you get to that level of being a footballer and not have that in your blocker?
What I mean is, you can't try and be aggressive because then you'll just get sent off.
No, it's in your nature. I know, but it's like to make it as a professional footballer, you have to have a little bit of that in your locker. Most of look at Brian Dean and people I know have made it with David Batty. They had it in droves, whether they were winning, they would not shirk it. They would not, miss a shift. They would not give in against the centre half. They would not let anybody get one over them. And I'm looking at some of that team and thinking, weak. It's not just Meslier. I think physically and mentally, there's a weakness there, and I think Sheffield United will be absolutely loving it because if there's one thing Wilder will buy and search for and instill in his players, it's that. And that is what is going to get you over the line in the next 6 or 7 games, not ability, not technical ability, not can you bring a ball down when it's 30 foot up in the air. It matters for fuck all. Because some big horrible twat will come and boot you up in the air. It matters for no. And that's my big. It's been a concern for a while.
That's the thing for me. These next 7 games, it's not about playing pretty football. It's not about being nice. It's just I don't care. It 1-0, a shit 1-0 game. I don't want to see pretty football. I just want us to win games and just get us over the line. We've seen some good stuff over this season, but now it's down to just doing it, just being dirty and just being dirty. You know what I mean? Just like fucking just.
That's all we do.
It's like just like that's how everyone thinks Leeds United is, like a dirty Leeds United. Everyone probably I'm one. There's like many people. I love seeing a tackle, like winning the ball, like fucking get into him and stuff like that. That's what I want to see. Not about getting fouls and stuff like that, but being in the players' faces all the time. And recently we've not seen that.
Yep, and
Dirty Leeds is an irony now. It's a joke title. Dirty Leeds now.
But it's still there. It still remains, and so every player who comes to Ellen Road as an opposition player has that in their back of their heads. Oh, it's Dirty Leeds. Oh, it's Ellen Road. Oh, it's this big thing. That's why it's like everybody's cup final, and that's why they're up for a fight. So whether you have that dog in you or not, you're gonna get you will be in a battle every time that you put on that white shirt. So I think that has to be taken into consideration in the summer.
I think on the flip side of that is you've got the way that football is, right? I've got to an age now where football is probably less important than it ever was. It still stabs me in the heart Saturday, fucking like a dagger through the heart every time we concede, particularly it's like that, and we drop points, and particularly point of the season. You've got to enjoy it. If we go up or not, Sheffield United, Sunderland, were absolutely amazing experiences. And when you're on the top of that division and you're singing, we're top of the league, United, you've just got to enjoy those moments because, let's be honest, they're brief and fleeting. And I think I've heard a couple of podcasts, the Sheffield United podcast the other day, thinking, we're just going to enjoy it because who knows what's going to happen over next. There's going to be some twists and turns. So I think everybody's resigned. If you're at that level of football, championship, nothing's a given. So everybody else is accepting of the fact that anything could happen between now and then. Have we got the minerals and the nutrients to get us over the line? Let's see. But it's going to take some players to step up and actually be counting. And I'm talking your Ampadu, your Rodon, some of the midfielders in there, your strikers. I think the other thing that's not happened for us is people like Joseph's not, that sort of plan B that Sheffield United have got sometimes. We haven't got it because Joseph's been a complete failure this year.
And they went out and invested in January.
Which we should have done.
For me, I don't hindsight, but the sort of player that we needed in January was a number 10. What sort of number 10 would we get in January?
We've been saying it 5 years, man. We've been saying it 5 years, a goalkeeper.
I could see. He's gone again.
He's gone. You keep going back. You can't argue back now.
The thing with like a number 10, the number 10 now is like the be and end all of a squad player, isn't it? And there's such a small pool of number 10s, probably that would go to in January would go to a top side in the Championship. I don't think that January transfer window is going to define our season if we go up or stay down. I don't think that. But people will do though. People will do.
It's not just the January transfer window. We could have gone for a 10 in the summer. We could have gone for another goalkeeper. We had a goalkeeper in line for the summer. Johansson, who's been the best goalkeeper in the league. We Hamer. We didn't pay the money. There would have been the price that it would have gone for. We didn't pay it. Look at the goal.
Let's be honest. He's
You've
shit
got to
though.
put-
I mean, I've watched him, and when he played
not,
against
though.
us, he was just. I don't think he would fit what we're trying to play. I don't think he's the thing with Harmer.
Is he better than Aronson? Yes, 100%.
I think
Without a doubt.
the thing
Miles
is,
better.
we made him look bad because he's slow and he's not going to be able to press us. But when you've got possession of the ball and the opposition is sitting in a low block, you need somebody who can unlock those defenses. And then we had that in Pablo, and we haven't never replaced Pablo. So
Pablo wasn't quick. He
no.
didn't run up and down the pitch. He just picked up pockets and played really intelligent
But
football.
Barney's right. He's not. Hamer's not going to high press, and he's not going to play that side of it that Farke. I mean, there's a reason why Farke keeps playing Aronson.
No, yeah, it's not on ability, is it?
It's
on
style.
work rate.
It's the style. But we have needed a number 10. It didn't need to be Hamer. It could have been anybody. Sheffield United went out and got Brereton Diaz. He's not necessarily a 10, or he could probably be a false 9. But what he is goals, guaranteed goals, and he makes something happen. And he has a moment in games, and he's already got them points. He's already done it, and I wrote about it, and I wrote about it so many times. And there's not much more I can do. I'm trying, guys. When you Google my name and Illan Meslier's name. It literally says there's a Google AI overview that says, he's been slagging him off.
Maybe it's your fault. Maybe he was really confident, so you started slagging him off, and he's gone shit. It's your fault.
Nobody in the club listens to me.
No, I think there's a complacency at Leeds United, and it carries its way through the whole club, whether it be the foundation or the academy. And I've got experience of this from my son. I've heard experiences from the foundation where that badge thinks it can do what it wants and not really work hard. It's kind of there's a complacency. It's an absolute fact. And I don't want to break my own club, but I think there's times where you see it drip through or seep through. And I think it's seeped through in recruitment. And I think we've just described some examples, with Meslier and stat-based recruitment and not getting your answer and not doing the things we needed to do. And I think it's an illness in the club. You look at somebody like Tony Bloom at Brighton, who took on a failing club and kind of put everything he had into it and had the mentality and the system and a Bournemouth. Fucking 12,000 people go watch Bournemouth, man. We get 3 or 4 times that, could get 4 times that in our state, but they've got a mentality and a system and they stick to it, and it just we're constantly chopping and changing because we don't really believe in the identity that we should have. Nobody should come to Elland Road and get an easy ride. Nobody. And we let people, particularly on Saturday, come and get an easy ride. I've seen it happen before. That should be a fortress. And you kind of felt like it was getting there again. But it's a fortress because we're better than everybody else, and we should be because we spent a fortune. We've got a better squad than everybody else. When it comes down to grit, determination, nutrients, are you prepared to roll your sleeves up? And I'm going to question that. I'm going to leave it there for now because probably said enough about that. I don't think we have got that mentality.
Right. So let's move on. And we've been going for an hour now.
By the way,
it doesn't feel like
we're over there.
About Meslier for 30 minutes.
The square ball. The square ball.
The sides.
Consistency. Do it under an hour.
Right.
I've been listening to that recently. That propaganda. Okay, no.
Right. Yeah. Right. So should we? Well, we were going to ask Barney about the finances, as he's our financial expert, but we've probably run out of time for that. We ran out of time for it. And Luton doesn't matter.
No.
It's London. It's sort of London.
12:30
lunchtime kickoff.
Yeah, we're fucked. We're fucked out it. We're going to be fourth by fucking by May.
And Macca's loving it. Loves the jeopardy. The one thing I will say that's different from last season and the meltdown that we had was the Welsh result. So those Welsh lads came back, and you could tell that they just they'd had their hearts wrenched out of them. I mean, we know how much Welsh people care about their country. it's unhealthy.
It's totally go on about. You just have to listen to that podcast with Ellis James. What's it called? The Socially Distant Sport. It's like literally every sports clip is about Wales, and all they talk about is Wales. And
Right.
yeah,
There you
God
go.
bless
So
them.
I mean, Rodon,
Yaki
Ampadu,
da.
James. I think they look healthy emotionally, psychologically. So I think that's a plus, and I do think it is different from last season. It can be different, and it has to be. So let's end on a positive, and let's go for what's your thing. So let's start with Barnes. Barney?
Well, everyone's watched it, but adolescence just thought provoking.
You like it?
Yeah, thought provoking. I mean, the film and it was brilliant. Just everything about it, and people. I mean, people have got their opinions about what the colour of the boy should have been, but it's not. That's taking away what the actual story should have been about. It felt more closer to home because my lad's 13 in a few months' time, and then the amount of influences you've got as a 13-year-old now compared to when we were 13 is absolutely wild for me. I mean, there's adults that can't even handle social media now, so let alone a 13-year-old lad that's going through sort of all sorts of hormones and things going on around their heads. It's absolutely scary. I mean, I would absolutely hate growing up now, to be honest. So yeah, I just thought it was.
Yeah, fuck that. Amazing.
No, being 13 now. Oh no,
Oh mate,
there's too much
honestly.
out.
We used to find fucking. We used to search for porn mans behind fucking garages and in hedges, man. Now it's like it's fucking everywhere. There's none of them stuck together pages from porn mags found in a hedge. It's like it's different levels, mate. The only thing that's missing is a bit of fingering. That's going out of
lingerie
fashion.
section of the Argos calendar.
Yeah. Why have you got why have you got the little ones catalogue in your bedroom? I don't know. Why are all brass bits stuck together?
I mean, the best. I mean, during those times, it was porno likes in Loaded magazine, but you don't get stuff like that nowadays, do you?
Yeah.
But,
I think it was more innocent times, but I think that it's everything's relative. I think back in that day, I've sort of watched adolescence by osmosis through Lisa watching it, and I can't bear watching stuff on telly. It's depressing. It's like I want to watch quite upbeat stuff, and I've been watching a load of good stuff. But I think it was interesting how they shot a lot of it as one shot. There was no kind of editing. It was like just shot as a big long piece.
You wouldn't want to. You wouldn't want to get the last line of the day wrong, would you?
No.
No, exactly. Yeah. But the pros and cons, generationally, this is what happens in it. Your dad said your music's shit and it's too loud and I don't like it, and you've got it easy compared to when I was young, and we used to have the top off the egg for breakfast and all that shit. It just moves on. It's generational, and I don't buy into all this. It's a lot more difficult. I won't go up. I think you'd find if you're a positive person, it's a bit. Well, let's refer it back to our football club. If you're a positive person, you can find positives in things. You will. If you want to reflect on the negative things that are going on, I'm like you, Barry. I've got a 16 and a 14-year-old, and it's heartbreaking to think what's going on out there. I've spent some time with the top judge in Leeds last week. I know Donny's probably found out in the last few weeks how connected I am in Leeds, and I sort of play it down and I become a bit of a dickhead here and talk shoot from the hip. But I've got a day job and a profession, and I had the top recorder from Leeds talking to me about gang violence and zombie knives and machetes and the gang culture in Leeds at the moment. He's coming out to me again next week. It's really fucking heartbreaking that exists, but it generally exists in communities where it's always existed. And I think sometimes our kids are probably quite fortunate that they're not. That's not their day-to-day life. Most black on black crime. Most gang stuff is against other gangs and people who are in that world. Live by the sword, die by the sword. So I think you've got to be a little bit careful about perpetuating this myth that it could happen to any kid. It generally happens to the same kid, sadly. From certain communities in broad poverty, can't see a way out. There's a serious point to that, and I think sort of adolescence painted a picture of a kid that kind of didn't, wasn't party to that. He kind of almost got roped into it. And again, I've not watched the full thing, but we have to be a little bit careful because I think most kids' lives are pretty simple these days. They've got a lot more than I ever had. Are they happier? Not sure. When I was young, we used to use things and love people, and nowadays it seems like they love things and use people. So the whole generational thing is a perpetuating circumstance that every dad and every father will look back and go, "Oh, you've got it easy," and but it's also more complicated than my life used to be. But fucking hell, they should be having a good time at 15, 16, 14, 13, whatever. It should be age. Should be a lot of finger blasting and parties and experimenting with things, whatever those things might
I think
be.
it's easy. It's
Crack
easy
on,
to
man.
get in with the wrong crowd online. I think that's probably Barnes' point. And I would tend to agree. I mean, you've got like your Andrew Tates and whatever. And if you look at this, you look at the Gen Z statistics on trust, for example. I mean, that group of humans have the same amount of trust in social media personalities as the BBC, 42%. So
Right.
outside of that generation, so 27 to 65, it's 8% trust in social media personalities like us, and 42% trust in the BBC. And so there's a respect among 27 to 65-year-olds for vigorous, researched, accredited journalism, and there's just not in that younger group, and they equate the same. And if it's very easy for somebody to get trapped into conspiracy theories, and at that young age where they're very, very easily influenced, and of course the algorithm feeds what you see. So if you start following accounts on TikTok that show you knives and glorify violence, then TikTok's going to go, "Oh, brilliant, that's what you like to see, here's some more," so it can be a bit of a rabbit hole. So it's definitely a problem, and I found adolescence to be one of the best things that I've ever seen, just because of I thought the script and the acting were unbelievable. Some of the best acting I've ever seen, and I, like Barney, I was just captivated by the one shot as well, just that continuous shot without any editing or any cuts. But what it did make me feel was extremely uncomfortable, and that I'd never want to watch it again. One and done, and that was it.
Okay.
Because you're sitting in there in the room while they're going through all of this pain, and they're just going through it over and you can't get out of the room. They don't cut away from it, or you know what I mean? Like it reminds me of those 70s soft porn scenes where they start getting comfortable, and then the music's like
Swedish,
but then
Swedish,
the
Swedish
camera
art
moves to the window and then zooms into the window and fades away, and then it's the next morning or whatever, and they're having a cigarette. It's like this was like the hardcore emotional scene. We're just gonna sit in this room while these people pour their hearts out and like tear emotional wounds out of each other, and I felt very uncomfortable.
So when you hit those really difficult things like that in life, that's how it feels, right? When you're in that room, you can't escape it, and it's all encompassing. It feels like that. So I think there is a quality and a kind of skill to that. I think it was well done. But ultimately, like you say, I think the biggest worry, and Gareth Southgate mentioned it in his Dimbleby speech, is that the kids, our boys are learning, and Barney's boys are learning through the phone rather than talking to individuals. But equally, a lot of our influences, whether you went in the local pub or your mates, whatever, was probably equally as incoherent in a lot of respects. So I think, the toxic influences, the Andrew Tates and stuff, is the worry. But I think if you bring your kids up right and you're a good person, your kids should end up in a pretty decent place. So I'm less worried about it, probably a lot more philosophical, because what I do is a day job. About the end result.
But you have to go.
Yeah.
Yes, mate. Yeah.
All right.
You have to go.
So my thing really quick is
we'll finish up if you've
okay.
got to
go.
I'm ready to go. Yeah.
All right.
See you later. See you later. See you later, lads. Bye.
See you, Barnes.
See you, Vance.
Right, Macca, I've had Wi-Fi problems this whole time, so if I go now, it's just going to be you on your own. So just keep the pod
Can't
going,
wait.
would you?
I've got my cane and my top hat in the background, ready to do a quick Frank
Get your turban out.
Yeah, exactly. Get the Frank Sinatra tune up. Yeah, my thing would be the Adidas advert. Is it the Leeds United Adidas advert? That yeah.
Is it? I
Mm,
haven't seen
yeah.
it.
Yeah, casting. I've been asked to cast.
Oh, yeah. I've seen. I saw that. Yeah.
Fuck knows why. What the fuck's going on there? So I got an email saying we'd like you to do it, and I'm like, has everybody else got this? I was asking if you've got. No. I've seen the thing, and you've got to apply. But yeah, apparently, for some reason, I've been asked to do a video and send it in, and probably won't get picked because it'll be too sweary and a little bit brutal for Adidas and Leeds United. But anyway,
Well,
there you go.
Macca.
Yeah.
My thing, I guess, is I'm on holiday. I'm having a holiday. Yeah,
What?
absolutely unbelievable.
Listen, you
So
students.
one week off. Well, we were meant to get 2 weeks, but I'm at the Yorkshire Evening Post next week on a work placement. So that's exciting. I remember, looking up at the Yorkshire Post tower as a little kid with
Still
big
there.
eyes.
Protected.
Yeah, it's looking a bit worse for wear. Someone needs to get up there and give it a bit of a dust.
Clean.
But yeah,
it's had a lot of demolition going around it recently. The Yorkshire Post building went in it.
So that's it. I was on TV News Days the last 2 weeks. So we had to do a BBC Look North style program, 4 p.m. every day, and
I didn't know about it. Did we?
luckily, I got you know about it because I called you every single day asking if you knew anybody to interview.
Can you fix me with an Afro-Caribbean person, a businesswoman, a young lad that's got... Yeah, we did good though, didn't we? We smashed it. That's what teamwork's all about.
Yeah. So it was brilliant. Yeah, everybody liked me. All my lecturers said that I did a good job. So yeah, it was going well.
Good. I hope I'm getting some points on this bloody thesis or whatever it is you're putting in this. You know what I mean? I never got to university. I never had that luxury. So at least give me some credit in the... your final score.
I'll bear that in mind. Yeah.
The
I'll
first
put you in the.
Yeah, I never had that. I never had that luxury. You know what I mean? Of getting to. So at least if somebody who has had that luxury credits me with something, saying, if ever you need something doing in Leeds, you ring you. I need a sportsman. I need a fucking
What you need is you need
an
honorary degree. That's what you need, Matt. An honorary degree in business, I reckon.
Just whatever social value, putting back, community, whatever. I'm not bothered by it. I did my degree in the School of Hard Knocks and all that stuff. So, but yeah, it's a joy to help you, mate, because to get those stories out and you sort of focused on some of our stories as well is pretty compelling for us and powerful for us as well. But just shows how well connected I am in this city that you can make a phone call at 4 o'clock and go, in the next 20 minutes, can you get me?
Absolutely amazing. Yeah. Jamie Jones Buchanan.
Yeah. Here we go. James Jones Buchanan, Claude Hendrickson, MBE, me, the least famous and popular of those people. Can you get me a black ginger-haired lollipop lady with one leg in the next 25 seconds? Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
I think people don't generally people don't really understand how absolutely insane and intense broadcast news programs are, and how just incredibly last minute. Like everything, when you watch it on the surface, it looks polished and it goes out at the same time every day. And everybody knows what they're doing and so on and so forth. But when you see it behind the scenes, it is chaos. It's just pure chaos. And there were so many times where they would be doing rehearsals right up to the last minute before going on air.
Yeah.
And getting it wrong.
So
and then when it went out, it was much better.
It's quite exciting.
It's exciting, yeah. It was really good. It was, I've always thought of myself more as in this romantic way, just being in a newsroom somewhere and working on a paper, like one of those old journalists from the 70s, like All the President's Men or something. But having worked in broadcast now for the last 2 weeks, now I'm just like, oh, that would be so cool. It'd be so much better.
Yeah, it's good. I got a buzz out of it. I mean, I would have helped you anyway, you know that, but it's quite a buzz. Like, right, can you get me somebody in the next 20 minutes who can get? It's like, right, okay, yeah, I'm busy enough to be honest, but let me see what I can do. Making 2 phone calls. I'm like, right, can you be at the studio then, or can they rock up and interview you outside Headingley at 4 o'clock today? It's like it's good, yeah, it's a good feeling. What we won't do for education. Oh, it's literally just me. Hello.
What have you been saying? Been amusing yourself?
I was just about to go get my cane and my top hat out and just sing us out. I did it my way.
And now the time has come.
The end is near. It's time to face the final curtain.
An hour and 20 minutes. And just think, only about 40 minutes of that was dunking on Meslier. Amazing.
That's not enough. I could talk about him all night, but not in a good way.
Right, the 12:30 kickoff has me worried, says Derek.
Yeah, me too.
You and me both. You know what? I think we'll be fine though. I actually think.
Why?
I don't know. I've just got this funny feeling. Like, I don't know. I just think we'll be okay. I don't know why, but there we go. I just think it's different this season, and Farke knows what's wrong, and he can, like, I don't know. There's something calm about him in the way that there wasn't with Bielsa, and yeah, I think he's done it before. I think he's going to do it again.
Well, he's hoping, fingers crossed.
Maybe I'm just trying to be the positive one because Barney's turned to the dark side.
Yeah. Being realistic, aren't we? It's not good.
Dublin is getting as bad as London now for knife crime. I won't let my daughter near the place, says Derek. Oh, you're in Ireland, Derek. The EU. Brexit means Brexit.
I know
that. Right,
I know you.
That is just about your lot for this week.
That's 25 minutes too long.
Oh, easily.
We've got to shorten these things. I've got shit.
They need to be half an hour. These things.
Silly bollocks. I can't introduce myself in half an hour. We've not even gone into loads of stuff that was going on tonight, including my massive shit.
I was close
to
muting the group there. Close to muting the group chat. Terrible. Radio. Okay, we'll see you when we see you, I guess. And
fine, man.
Come on, Leeds!